Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and we're going to learn about being the best CEO and CEO. So let's dive in and see what it takes or what it means to be the best CEO. So in this video, CEO means change equals opportunities, because I know someone will be like, okay, so I want to be the best CEO. So change equals opportunities. And most of us, sometimes we want a lot of opportunities. We want to go in a different space, a different things, to do different stuff. But have we changed from the inside? Do we have what it takes to be in that place where we want to be? Because sometimes we don't want to have the change, but we want to be in a different place. And we are always in a hurry to be up there, to climb the mountain, to be seen, to be validated. We want to show people that even us, life is lifing. But most of the time, we have not done the foundation work. We haven't even built what people don't see. Because kitambo, I used to ask myself, why is it that when somebody is building, they surround that premises with maybe mabati, so you will not even see what is going on. But the day they remove that mabati, you'll be like, where? I didn't see this coming, or I didn't know this is what was going on. So even us, I remember there's a time where you're being told that, I think this is what you're supposed to do. And of course, this is coming from someone who wants the best out of you and someone who believes in you. And you're like, no, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. This is what I think is good. So what I think is good. And then some years later, you go back and do what you're being told to do. So being the best CEO is all about being flexible. It's all about doing what you're supposed to do. It's all about focus on what you have decided to do. Most of us, we wake up in the morning and don't even have the plan for the day. We go to work, we go to our businesses, we stay at home, and siku inaisha tu. And for me, I always ask myself every evening, what have I done today? And someone said, your day doesn't begin in the morning, but your day begins the night before the morning. So basically, that night before the morning, you're supposed to plan what you're going to do tomorrow. Supposed maybe to make sure that whatever you are going to wear in the morning is ready. Okay, there are those people who wanatafutanga nguo ya kuvaa asubuhi. For me, it's draining. It's really draining. So I prefer kujipanga usiku, everything, so that when I wake up, I know what I'm going. Because even deciding which clothes you are going to wear in the morning, it's mental torture. Because now you have to go to the wardrobe, you look at this, you don't want this one, you look at this, you need to iron this one, you do. So by the time you are out of that wardrobe, you are tired already. Nata ujaenda hata kazi. So always make sure that, for me, I make sure that I minimize a lot of small things that I'm supposed to do in the morning, so that when I start my day, I know I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. So what do you believe in? I don't know. I'll be doing a video about the difference between being born again and fearing God. Because the people who, they take their belief and that is their belief, and you cannot tell them otherwise, and they have decided and they're like, this is how we are doing things. It's either my way or the highway, and they expect to change. How? And for me, I always refer to the Bible, because that's that's my guidelines for the life. And sometimes we need to ask ourselves, why did God have to move some people from the familiar to unfamiliar? Because even we see the story of Abraham, God changed his name. God told him I want you to leave your clan. I want you to leave your place to take you to a different place. Sometimes I wonder, how did Sarah give in and say, okay, sawa, Mungu amesema twende, sawa twende. You know, as women, you have a lot of questions. Like, are you sure? Like, where are we going? Are you sure that place is safe? And what are we going to do there? And by the way, did God tell you for how long? And what will people say? Your brothers. What is going to happen in case shit happens? Women can ask a lot of questions. So I'm just wondering, how did Abraham convince Sarah to leave to a different place? And it was not like you are going to Mombasa from Nairobi and see the place. We have an Airbnb for you. You will stay there for like a month. Look for a house and all that, and everything is catered for. And from Nairobi to Mombasa, we are going to pay transport for you. And you know, it was, you go to a place, I will show you. And one of the things that I believe made God to take Abraham out of the familiar was because he wanted to change Abraham's mindset. He wanted Abraham to see things in a different point of view. Remember, Abraham was raised in a place of idols and worshipping idols. And people who go far and read the books that were not included in the Bible, there's a story where it says Abraham used to look after the idols of their father. So one day, because Abraham had that zeal in him, and something was just not right with these idols, and one day decided to break one of the idols. And when the father came back, the father was like, what happened to my idol? And Abraham told the father, this big idol fought the young idol. And after fighting, this young idol broke. And the father was like, the idol does not have the power to fight another idol. It was like, okay, wait a minute. So what are we believing in? So it was something that was in him. And that is why we need to have that desire, even to know more. The desire to be in a different place, the desire to do things differently. So him being moved from that familiar place was, number one, to change his mindset. And that is why I always say, interact with people who think big, people who like, usikae tu kwa hiyo sako yako ya nyinyi wote, you are all hustlers, you are all talking about politics, you are all maybe doing the same job, you are all from the same village, you are all from the same organization. Sometimes mingle and talk to people from different careers, travel a bit, watch things on YouTube that challenge you, that make you feel aja. So kuna watu tu hapa duniani who are like living in heaven on their way to heaven. You know, the people who are living in heaven on their way to heaven, the people who are living in hell on their way to hell, and the people who are living in heaven on their way to hell, and the people who are living in hell on their way to heaven. So tafakari hayo. So what I'm trying to say is, you need to have a different mindset, and you cannot have a different mindset when you are still in that group of people that you are raised together in poverty, that are thinking about what to eat today, that's enough. They go to work. Once they have like 100 shillings, that's it. They go buy takeaway and they're done for the day. So it has to take the hand of God to move Abraham from the familiar place. So change equals opportunity, because if you don't change, someone said, if you do the same thing the same way, you will always find the same results. But if you do something, the same thing differently, you'll come out with different results. So are we willing to change? Are we willing to take that difficult course? Are we willing to spare time and do things that will help us even to change how we think, to change how we relate? Are we willing to take maybe a course of communication skills, cooking skills? Are we willing to sacrifice, basically? Because everything is all about a sacrifice. If you want to change, prepare to sacrifice. Nothing comes easy. But most of us, we want the change, but we don't want to sacrifice. We want to sleep until 2, but we are praying that God will give us a job. Now, if you're sleeping until 2, where will job come from? You don't network with people, you don't go online and maybe read something or learn a skill. I was watching this lady who was being frustrated at her place of work, a lot of frustration. The boss used to give her a lot of work and all that and all that. But this lady, after complaining and complaining, one time someone told her from the church, can you learn this skill? And the lady went, and instead of like sleeping saa tatu ama saa nne, after we have watched every story of everyone who has fought their husband, who was, I don't know, killed, who was the toxic news that we watch. And then you sleep with a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, and you sleep feeling depressed for other people's business. You sleep because your mind is filled with a lot of junk, things that don't even concern you. I don't know who has left who, I don't know who has done what, I don't know who. We know what we watch. So this lady told her, start learning this skill. And she learned the skill. After I think 3 months, she got a job. She was called for an interview. And the reason why she was shortlisted and the reason why she was employed in that new organization was because of the skill that she learned the 3 months. Sacrifice, guys. So if you want opportunities, you need to be willing and you need to be ready to change. Because as I always say, God's favor is when opportunity meets preparedness. If God will answer some of our prayers, we'll be so disappointed in Him because we'll feel like a betrayal, we'll feel like the devil has come to take away what belongs to us. But at the end of the day, it's all about us. We did not prepare for that opportunity. So sometimes even as we pray, God is holding that prayer because we need to do more work on us. We need to, get out of the comfort zone and put some things into practice so that when that prayer is answered, we'll be fit and ready. You can imagine if Goliath met with David when David was still naive and when David did not have any experience of fighting the lion and the bear. He could have been like the brothers and other people who were fearing Goliath. But because David met Goliath when he was prepared, then that was God's favor. So make sure that if you want to be the best CEO, change equals opportunity, and always be willing and be ready to learn. So as we close, make sure that you also consult, ask questions, know what is, like me, I will ask even a small child, what are you planning to do with this and what are you learning from this? Because I always believe that we can learn from everyone. We can learn from people above us, and these people who are above us, they are going to challenge us, and we are going to see possibility by looking at them and seeing the life that they are living. We are going to learn from people that we're in the same level with. Why? They're going to tell us, now it's time for you to move. It is time for you to take another step. It is time for you to go much higher. And we are going to learn from people below us, because they will always remind us that if you're not careful, we'll always come down to where you are. People below us will make us to have that humility, will make us to have that gratitude to God, that you know what, thank you, because I'm here. I'm not perfect. It's not because of my education or anything, but because of your grace. So we need to learn from all the three angles. People who are above us to challenge us that we need to put more effort, that it is not done, it is not dusted. And then people who are equal with us to make us know that we need to go much higher and need to grow. And people who are below us, just to remind us the faithfulness of God, and to remind us to be humble, and to remind us that we are not the chosen few, we are not qualified. It is by the grace of God that we are there, and to remind us to always stay humble, because we know that we are not that special, and because we can look back and see where God has brought us from. So always learn from those three categories, and make sure that if you want opportunity to come through for us, if you want to change, always be willing to burn the candles. Always be willing to spare an extra time just to learn something. So change is constant. It's either you are changing for the good or changing for the worst. So there's nothing like I'm just here. If you're not growing, you are declining. So make sure that you choose which way you want to go. Of course, going back and declining does not need anything like skills or anything. Just need you to be there and just wait for life to happen. But of course, moving upwards needs a lot of sacrifice and a lot of learning and a lot of effort and a lot of energy. So for now, thank you so much, and may the good Lord bless you, and bye bye.